Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana Live. You found us in whatever podcast app you are listening to. And it's Sunday, 1 p.m., August 10th. And we are
live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. We are back. Hello, everybody. Hello. How are we doing?
Yes, it's been a few weeks since we've done a PRL, right? It's been a while.
PRL, yes.
Been a while. You were away in the motherland of the UK. You were witnessing some Oasis, and then we had SummerSlam 2 nights last week. So we didn't go live then because we wanted to watch SummerSlam. So we gave our thoughts on Tuesday. If you haven't checked out, I'm sure we'll go through maybe a little bit today and the fallout or repercussions, if you will, from everything that took place at SummerSlam. But yeah, it's been a while since we did a Sunday show talking just all the other stuff in the world of wrestling because it never ever stops.
Never stops. And as always, so much to talk about across the board, from WWE deals and releases and returns and storylines. Of course, we've got AEW going on as well. The G1 is coming to the playoffs. But first of all, Braden, the Black Eyed Peas just don't get the respect they deserve.
The Black Eyed Peas. Wait, what?
I went to see the Naked Gun yesterday.
Oh, yes, of course. It is true, yeah. They use the original version of the Black Eyed Peas song that everyone, I don't know if that version is making a comeback or not, but what a movie, right? Movie of the year.
Pretty fun.
Probably. Just straight up 90 minutes of them hurling jokes at you, like blink and you miss, like jokes within jokes of. It's crazy. It's directed by.
Very much kept the feeling of the originals, just like the stupid like one-liners and. Can I take a chair? No, I have plenty at home. Like,
all the like silly, Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen style comedy, and Liam Neeson did such a good job of doing that exact style. But it's crazy because it's like what Seth MacFarlane produced, and then Akiva from Lonely Island. So like the cross of all the people involved in this movie, it kind of is a perfect storm of just silliness. So yeah, that one's up there as movie of the year so far. It's just so funny and so stupid. So fantastic. If you haven't gone and seen it, definitely check it out. There's some good movies. Fantastic Four is out. I'm hearing so much about this Weapons thing. I'm working the next few days, so I'm
thinking of doing a double bill today, to be honest. I'm thinking of doing Weapons and then Fantastic Four. And, for a little 2-for-1 kind of deal. So that's what I'm thinking today. It's so hot outside. So being in an air-conditioned room and the seats of the Scotiabank are pretty comfy. So I think that's my plan for the rest of the day.
Nice. Yeah. Well, did you stay for the post-credit scene in Naked Gun?
I was messaging Graham. I was like, is there a post-credit scene? And he's like, yeah. And I go, okay. When is it? And he goes, well, once it cuts to like the regular credits, it's done. So I was like, okay. So I'm watching the regular credits, hearing Liam Neeson sing. And then I'm like, oh, I've got Liam Neeson singing. And he's like, oh, I didn't have that. I'm like, really? So I ended up leaving and missing the Weird Al thing. So I was lied to.
Well, it's funny because, we just saw Weird Al only a few weeks ago, which was a fantastic show where Graham almost died. Our friend almost died just witnessing Weird Al. But the original Naked Gun has a cameo from Weird Al as well. So it does kind of tie. There's a great gag where he gets off the plane and everyone's cheering. He's like, oh, wow, for me? And they're like, no, Frank, Weird Al's on the same flight. And everyone's losing their minds for Weird Al. So it's cool that he's in the universe now with the new one and everything. But yeah, what a movie. I really enjoyed Fantastic Four as well. I think that's a given, but also stay for the credits, Davie.
Yes.
The big one is the mid-credit scene you got to stick for, but after credit scene also hits as well. So definitely check.
Yeah, it's getting like just ridiculous now. Like I always, the Wi-Fi is always like wonky in the cinema. I feel like they do blockers or stuff to try and keep people off their phone. Because I'm always like sat in a movie and I'm like, is there a post-credit scene? Like they all do it now, not just the comic book movies, just everything. Like, I'll be sat watching Killers of the Flower Moon, and I'm like, oh, is there a post-credit scene in this?
Yeah, Tarantino walks in.
Yeah.
I think everything should, like, even when Mario the movie came out like a few years ago, I was like, okay, is Sonic gonna show up? Is the hand from Smash Brothers gonna show up? Like,
yeah.
Now you're just expecting. I did the same thing when I saw Naked Gun, and it was about the time Liam Neeson singing, and I'm like, quickly pull out my phone. I was a Sammy scroller, if you will, and I was like, hey, quick, Google, is there a post credit? And it's like, yes, there is. I'm like, God bless that website. Whoever's job is to make sure. Hey, just make sure you stay for that.
I also felt quite uncomfortable because the lights were completely up, and no one else was in the theater at that point. So I'm like, just sat on my own. I'm like, I'll find it online, I'm sure.
Yeah. You can do that. So yeah, summer is super hot here in the city, and right now because of these like forest fires or wherever they may be, the air pollution, it's been super hot. Which is, don't get me wrong, I'll take hot over cold any day, but it's been kind of hard to breathe in the last few days. It's
tough. Like
hot.
I consider myself pretty healthy. I go for like long walks daily, and I'm struggling. Like I just got back from a walk, and I'm like out of breath. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
So stay cool, stay hydrated wherever you may be on this earth. But if you're listening to this, thanks for joining us here today. There's some people in the chat. See the frog emojis, see the ribbits. Appreciate. You can hit that follow, subscribe in your podcast app or your YouTube. Give us a follow. We do tons of other shows. If you check out our patreon.com/Poisonrana, you may have heard some road diaries, or have we not called them this, Davie? Toad diaries. The Snap Ranas on the Patreon. We did some catching up on our drive to Cleveland. We made a random Wednesday night trip to Cleveland, Ohio. Ohio is for lovers, can confirm. And we went to Dynamite, and then we perused around the city, and then we came back on Thursday with our buddy Shane. Shout out Shane. And we recorded some fun. I don't remember the other show other than the one in the car going there. I'm pretty foggy on the other ones. So
I did while you were at work on Friday. I kind of pieced the two other recordings we did together. I listened to them back. They're not too bad. Okay. And filled in, like, did a little bit of narration to fill in the gaps of what happened between. So yeah, we got two Snap Ranas, two road diaries for our trip to Cleveland. Which how did you find our little day out?
Yeah, Cleveland for me has always been somewhere you just kind of drive through when you're going to Florida, as Ontarians know. But finally kind of seeing the waterfront and some of the bars and like the sites and stuff, like, it's a pretty little city, especially in the summer with, like, again, the waterfront there and like the outside and you got us a nice little Airbnb where it was like near this like strip of bars. We found this place called Jolene's, which was pretty much like country Dolly Parton inspired thing. We were marking out, doing photo shoots and taking pictures, and they had all the gimmicks of like country bar.
I took my cowboy hat from Texas just because it's been hot and sunny, and I really don't suit hats. And for some reason, this white cowboy hat kind of suits me. So and then we find Jolene's honky tonk. So we were like, fuck yeah, yeehaw.
There's like lights and country stuff and like almost like a museum to like country music, and floors, a rooftop patio and everything. And like in Dolly We Trust, a giant memorial and like all this stuff. Not memorial because she's still alive, but you know what I mean. But then I think we had a few drinks and some sweet teas or something. And then I'm like, oh, like this is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city. And I know Dolly just went in a little while ago. So I asked the bartenders, I'm like, clearly this is an official Dolly bar. And they just went, no. So I'm like, oh, does Dolly know about this? Because kind of seems like it's her bar. But
it was interesting because on the receipt it had an entertainment tax, which I was wondering if it was going to be a case from like just all the bars you pay an entertainment tax, but nowhere else had this. Actually, a lot of places were tax free for whatever reason for that weekend. But I'm like, there wasn't live music or anything, but maybe just the tax because it's
the Daisy Dukes.
A cool bar. Yeah. There we go. Yeah,
I also
didn't go through college all weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. That was our MO. It was a Wednesday, Davey. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We
Weekend,
were
right.
we were the Cleveland Guardians on Wednesday. That's what we were. I didn't realize that name had changed because I'm seeing Guardians everywhere, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like Guardians Insurance? What is this? And then I think back to Charlie Sheen and Wild Thing, and I'm like, wait a second, the Cleveland Indians. Of course, the name has changed to the Guardians, and I'm so behind on that one. So I just learned that. So I got some ballpark mustard. I haven't tried yet, but I'm excited to. So yeah, Cleveland rocks.
Got some hot sauces. Got some dinosaur. What was it? Dinosaur snot. Hot dinosaur snot or something like that.
It was good.
It was like I got to get that. But yeah, I think it would be cool if there's. Obviously, I went to SummerSlam last year and had a pretty fun time, but if there was a weekender, like whether it's AEW running there or WWE or something, it's close enough that we can make that trip. And I think it'd be worth checking out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is pretty cool there.
Yeah. I think next time I would totally do that because you had sent me some pictures when you went, and there was like so much stuff from like rock and roll, epic,
and they changed like the main exhibit like regularly. It's always new when you go as well.
Yeah, no, it was a nice little trip. Like for us, that was like about a 5-hour drive from Toronto, and it's like, okay, we won't necessarily do that all the time, but it was a nice little 1-2. We ran into friend of the post wrestling universe, Marcus Vanderberg. Shout out Marcus. That was a sweet little rendezvous. Got to catch up. So we'll try to convince him to get on a show and talk some wrestling. And we were basically being tortured about the Otani stuff. Blue Jays lore for those who know, but that was a
things will fall apart as the Blue Jays are in LA right now. But it was funny. Like had a couple of because I'm friends with one of the photographers at AEW. We go way back from like my first trip to WrestleMania, and where we're sat is pretty much right behind him. So I take a photo of him taking photos of the ring and send it to him. And similar to Marcus, they're like,
what?
Why the fuck are you in Cleveland right now for this Dynamite?
Most people in Cleveland were like, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, we're from Toronto." And they're like, "Oh, wow, cool, Canada. Wow, cool. Why are you here? Why are you coming to Cleveland?"
But, especially in the summer, it's nice to do these little day trips, get out the city, watch some wrestling, and obviously we'll be getting into our AEW Dynamite review a little later in the show. But and for me, like Wednesdays, Thursdays tend to be my weekend. So like, why not? Yeah.
Wednesdays is usually when we record like Patreon stuff. So we do have that day off to kind of do that. So we did rush. I made it to work. I was exhausted by the end of my shift, but I did make it in.
I don't know how you did that.
I had a lot of I did a U. I had like 4 espressos over ice, and then I did it again later on. And eventually my body's like, this is just placebo effect at this point. This espresso. But no, I survived that. We had some fun. I'm trying to think of, we got to go to a Target, of course, because we don't have that in Canada. So the little things, okay. They had the hot one sauce actually there too. You got even more. How many bottles did you end up taking home?
I got 6 hot sauce, and
you must have the whole set at this point.
6 hot sauce and 2 different types of mustards, I think.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So lots of hot sauce in Cleveland. We had like, late night 3 a.m. drunk food on the Wednesday night, and it was like the only thing that was open was like these calzones. What was it like? Getting the calzone or whatever. And that was the most cheese I've had in a single sitting. I think my body is still rejecting.
It wasn't bad though. I like the dough.
It was good.
On that. It was pretty nice, but yeah.
I always joke to you like, oh, I think I'm lactose or something. And like, after eating that cheesy goodness, oh boy, my body was like,
I think sometimes you just don't. You're like, we shouldn't be eating that much cheese, really. But
well, it was weird because like bars there. So we went into a bar, and our buddy Shane, like he's not the biggest drinker, but he likes to have some devil's lettuce once in a while. But they had like seltzers, THC seltzers in some bars in Cleveland.
Yeah,
like,
so we have them. Like it's just so strange, like the different laws from state to state and city to city and stuff. So we see these seltzers all the time over here, but only in dispensaries. But the fact bars were selling them as an option as well was pretty cool. I know the like alcohol-free game is like really improving. Like we're getting like quite a few more at our bar. Like the the Guinness Zero is so popular. Like it
Wow.
tastes just like the real thing. And I think people do want alternatives from like alcohol. Like they still want a adult beverage, if you will. They still might want to get a buzz or something. And the fact that these places are actually selling like these seltzers is pretty cool and sensible. I mean, like, what, you're just gonna get high and order a plate of nachos for yourself rather than fight
they're gonna
someone?
make more money essentially. Yeah, I'd say that you're gonna be like, oh yeah, actually,
But I assume it's like, yeah, whatever the government ruling on weed and stuff is.
Yeah. No, but it was a fun little time in Cleveland, and I'm sure we'll be back one day for some more wrestling. I don't mind travel. People are like, you're coming all this way for wrestling. It's like, no, it's just an excuse to go visit somewhere when there is a wrestling. That's kind of been our MO for a while. Where it's like, okay, well, if there is wrestling there, might as well go there when it's there, and then go to it and do all these other things.
The perfect like pre bar for the Wallstein Center, where we went in and we didn't have too long. We had maybe like 10-15 minutes before we had to head to the arena, and we go, do you have any specials? And he's like, oh no, actually $5 gets you this stubby can and a little mini bottle of Fireball. And we're like, perfect. Like a little stubby bottle of some local beer, which actually, it was like a cream ale, tasted pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Timing wise, it was like, this is perfect. Like I can drink this. I don't need to rush it. It's small, it's cheap. And then we can get to the Wallstein Center.
It was perfect. It was like when we went to the ECW arena last year. Me and you were like, we have to pee and this line is long. Quick, let's go to the quickest little bar. And we walked in and we are like, oh, we're not in Kansas anymore. But we quickly had a beer and made it. I love little America dive bars. Like, I know Canada, America, it's like, hey, support Canadian and don't travel. And a lot of Canadians are not actually traveling to the US. And here we went to Dallas this year and now Cleveland again. And like, I love traveling and seeing other little places. So of course I'll visit Canada and see things in my own country, but I still love you, America. You guys know what you're doing for the most part, maybe not so much, but I love you, America. I don't love a whole lot of what's going on down there, but you guys got good calzones. So
they know how to do it. They know how to do the bars.
You know how to do bars better than Canada. It's just true. You guys know how to have a good time. You know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't get a Four Loko this time, but I got a what was it? Yeah. A Seagram's WWE like pineapple power bomb. Yeah. Oh my god! I took like disgusting. 3 sips and I was already hungover. I was like, wait a second, how did this happen?
I feel this has been maybe for the last like year or so when we go to the States and we go somewhere. I see your eyes light up. You see one of these huge cans of some bullshit
shitty drink.
And I go, Braden, you're in your 30s now. No, it's gonna be great. And you try it, you crack it open all excited, you have a sip, and it just oh, I don't know if I can do this.
I do. I like getting like a Four Loko because when we went to North Carolina, Four Loko, now we don't have this in Canada again, but the pre-drink ones, it's like a Mickey of like Four Loko extra, and that shit was like gasoline, but like sent the party started in a good way. Whereas like I like to do it ironically, it's like, all right, let's drink this and get the party going. But I do prefer trying like local beers or even local, like, you know, we love our Claws and seltzers, and those have blown up everywhere. And I like now that I can try like breweries that make their own seltzers, like the one we went to, Market Garden in Cleveland. Like local seltzers are awesome.
We're not the biggest beer drinkers, but like craft beer, like going to an actual brewery and getting the beer from there, like I find it's so much better on my stomach. It tastes nicer. Like it just feels like fresher. I can't be doing those Coors banquets in a can or whatever.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
But had a great time in Cleveland. And
absolutely. Yes. So check out, we did a whole catch up of your trip while you were away. We did a road podcast there, a Snaprana. We went like 45 minutes in the car and we were talking about your trip going to Oasis at Wembley. I went to the weekend here at the Sky Dome and kind of catching up on everything, plus some wrestling talk. And then, like you said, some other little Snapranas that you put together. So some rated R content over on our Patreon. And of course, you get all those shows, plus all the other shows. We did a best match ever Goldberg recently. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. And we have links to all the matches and the squash matches. our love and praise for Goldberg versus La Parka and many other squash matches. But we just did a wasNXT where we looked at the June 5th, 2014 edition of NXT. June 2014, yes, where we talked about everything coming out of the first ever takeover, Tyson Kidd, Neville, plus Charlotte versus Bailey, which was pretty fun to go back and see, like the BFFs and everything. But this week, we are going to hit you with a movie review. Dave, you may go see this movie today, Fantastic Four: First Steps. But this week, I thought it'd be fun to go back and review. I was going to say the original, but I think there's even a further back Fantastic Four that I didn't want to go.
Wasn't there some like TV movie or there was something terrible?
Some weird one. Yeah. Well, we're going to go to 2005, a great year. We're going to look back at Chris Evans in his original superhero Marvel role that was revisited just recently in Wolverine and Deadpool. But we're going to look at Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis, and that other guy. Whoever that, I don't know who that guy is. Have you ever seen this?
Sounds like that other guy as well. Like
Michael Chiklis. No, this is just the greatest name, Chiklis. Yeah. That's awesome. What a name.
Yeah, I've seen this once. I believe probably
like back in the day,
15 years ago, 10 years. Yeah, probably about 15 years ago.
So by the time we review this, you will have also seen the newest one. So it'll be a great chat.
A bit about that.
Yeah.
You're going to be going away at the end of the month. So we're also going to be kind of banking a few shows. So if you're one of our people that follows wasNXT, I advise watching maybe the next one, maybe even 2 episodes, because we're going to try and bank a few little episodes. And they're quite easy for us to kind of fit into a busy week. Also going to have the next episode of The Champ is Here. Still kind of trying to find a co-host for this one. I'm hoping we'll pull someone out the bag the last second, but we'll be recording that just before you go away, looking at the 11th reign, I think we're up to. We slipped a little.
Remember. Did we do 11 on?
No, we're up to 11. So the last one we had was Money in the Bank, which was the 10th reign coming to an end with CM Punk winning and taking the title away.
Of course,
we'll be going into the whole, the new championship they'll create, where Rey Mysterio will win it, John Cena will win it off him, and then leading to SummerSlam against CM Punk. So some things you can be thinking about watching ahead to catch up in time for that, and hopefully we'll be able to announce a guest hopefully as soon as Tuesday's show on Up Next.
And hey, if you are thinking about becoming a friend, it's $5 a month. You get a whole access to all the shows that we put out week to week, but everything in that back catalog, all the wrestling, best match evers, movie reviews, pay-per-view reviews, so much more in that catalog. You can scroll endlessly through, but you can become a family member, world champ patron, and you get to pick stuff. If you're listening and you are a family member, get your picks in. Please DM us because we'd love to get through some up yours. And maybe you haven't signed up yet. Now's a great time because all you got to do is sign up and you get to pick something and we have you on and we chat about whatever it is, wrestling, movies, and whatnot. So become a patron at
even if you were a family member who maybe your membership's lapsed and we didn't get to you, please let us know because we do owe you one and we're good for that. It's these last couple of months with sort of going all in and me going back home and you're going away. It's the schedule's been a little tougher than usual. But we want to be getting through a lot of these up yours. I know Chris Price has just picked WrestleMania 28 that will be visiting soon. Brent Nickel, the Cowboy, I want to know what you've got for us. I know you're due.
I hope it's a Cowboy. I got to say, Brent Nickel, I think I shouted him out, but on a recent detox, we go to random questions, right? And people always ask us what favorite TV theme, or for some reason, favorite cowboy always gets brought up. And of course, I love Clint Eastwood, but my legit favorite cowboy is Brent Nickel because he's a legit cowboy over in the west side of Canada. So maybe he'll pick another Western for us to review because now you have a cowboy hat, Davie. You can wear it while doing the review. We'll all wear our hats during the review. But follow us, whether it's Twitter, Instagram. We have Poisonrana Pod. Give us a follow and check out all the other stuff that we do. We will be live this Tuesday as well, post-wrestling, for some NXT talk. I will be going away. I did mention, I'm assuming we don't have too many Japan listeners, although I know that we do because I can see that we do sometimes. But I will be going to night 2 of Peter Pan at Corcoran Hall. But Davie, I'm a little low key mad because the day I arrive, Jun Kasai is doing a huge deathmatch like pay-per-view show, and the same day, Onita is doing an exploding ring match. The day I land and I can't go because I'm already I'm missing both of it. I'm so mad. I'm like, But then Jun Kasai's kid is having his second ever match at Corcoran Hall at the DDT show I'm going to. So at least I get to see, maybe his kid will bring out the light tubes at DDT. So if any off chance anyone listening is going to be in Tokyo for DDT night 2 at Corcoran Hall later of August, let me know. Would love to meet up. And also any recommendations for karaoke or whatever, DM me, please. Would love to hear that. You got to see some wrestling, as you kind of mentioned. You got to see Mercedes over at Rev Pro. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, Mercedes. I got to see Naito and Bushi now going as Los Tranquilos to Japan.
Los t-shirts.
So the Rev Pro title change, Michael Oku versus Ricky Knight Jr., which is a pretty fun match. Jay Joshua versus Shah Samuels. I think Jay Joshua is kind of one to watch. He's like he's sort of like a British Jacob Fatu, if you will. He's definitely got like a Jacob Fatu look to him. But yeah, he was pretty impressive. It was a really fun show and great hanging out with Matty and Gareth and the lads in Wolverhampton. No, Naito has not returned. He was wrestling in Rev Pro in answer to Chief
in the UK.
In the chat. Yes.
Nice. Well, all the wrestling all over the world. Where do we even begin today with what's going on in the world of wrestling?
I would say I'd say some of the biggest news from this week is the WWE PLE ESPN. That's a lot of letters. Deal.
WWE with a new crazy $1 billion, some few $1 billion deal there with ESPN, where beginning in 2026 they will be broadcasting the premium live events in a 5-year deal. According to the Wall Street Journal, this is a $1.6 billion deal, or $325 million a year, which is crazy. Now, for us as Canadian citizens here, that doesn't affect us. We have Netflix. They've signed that huge deal for Netflix. We get Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and all the PLEs attached to our Netflix. So for Americans, this makes things a little bit different, right? This now you have to have ESPN one way or another. Now, this is obviously like come out a few days ago. And since then, I can't necessarily find what's super clear and what's not. Obviously, this doesn't happen until 2026. But if you have normal ESPN, do you get access to this?
By the sounds of it, it's not necessarily. I think it depends on who your service provider is. So maybe what I'm taking from that is, sometimes you'll get a new subscription, a new cable subscription, and they're like, hey, and you get Netflix for free, or you get Disney for free. I think some service providers, if you've got ESPN, you are going to get this streaming service as well. Others haven't necessarily got that deal in place, so you would have to be paying on top of that. So yeah, some people are going to be carrying ESPN anyway. Like, you've got a bunch of, I think the NBA's on there, MLS, trying to think what other sports they've got, but yeah, UFC, obviously. So some people are going to be carrying this already, in which case it's just like for us when we're already subscribing to Netflix and you got the PLEs now on there. But for a lot of people, it's a big price hike when you've been paying $9.99 for the last 11 years, or in some cases with Peacock, that maybe your provider gives you Peacock for free. Like, you've been getting this for free for the last 5 or so years. And now you're having to pay another like $30 on top of that. It's a lot. And for me, like, I know there are lots of people who watch wrestling who are big into their sports, and maybe it's a package that's worth it. What? I only pay $30 and I get WWE plus this sport, plus this sport, plus this sport. a lot of us are also nerds who really don't give a fuck about sport. So that's a big hike to just be paying for the pay-per-views. And you would hope that the quality of the pay-per-views improve. Like, there was stuff I enjoyed on SummerSlam, but I think the quality has gone down in WWE in the last year. And I certainly wouldn't say that they're worth $30. Now, you would also say, like, since going to the network, it's like these pay-per-views haven't been as important. So maybe that's why they put less matches on, or some feel a bit throwaway. And will this incentivize them to put more effort in? However, you know, we've been watching a lot of these pay-per-views for this John Cena show where people were paying $60, and they certainly weren't giving people their value then. So
yeah,
it kind of sucks. I think if we were in the States, and then we'd have to legally follow WWE, you know, have USA Network, NBC, CW, Netflix, and this ESPN Plus, or whatever they're calling it.
So much money.
It's a lot. And that's a lot of money just to be keeping up with WWE.
Again, for us, we are spoiled. And I think we all knew as Canadians, and I think the UK, right? Like it's not just Canada, but
most of the world. It's really the US have the shittiest deal with
they're getting
WWE
tariffed on their wrestling.
For the consumers. Like, yes, WWE are making billions. Like, they're making so much money out of this deal. And they're still probably going to be having commercials on these pay-per-views and
absolutely
ring mats plastered with stuff. So they're going to be making money on top of money. But yeah, like, the rest of the world certainly have a better deal.
So yeah, we have Netflix. And for me personally, I've had Netflix for a long time, probably over 10 years, where I pay and I get a bunch of movies and TV shows, and I like it. It's been my favorite one that I've never necessarily dropped because it's had a mix of and since
even when there's a downtime, you know that a new Squid Game is going to come out soon, or Stranger Things or whatever. Like, yeah.
The docs alone, I at one point they were doing the stand-up comedy stuff, Chappelle and all that. Like, there was reasons for me to keep my subscription, and it was totally worth it. And then they added wrestling. So it's like, wow, even better, because we watch NXT for like Tuesdays already. That was my job, because at one point when we were roommates, we were paying for these, like, you had to pay like this crazy package just to watch certain wrestling. And it's like, why? I don't want to watch TFC soccer and all this stuff. I literally just want the wrestling. And it was kind of annoying, where then it made us go to other means. It made us find other ways to watch wrestling. And that's where maybe a lot of people might go back to jumping. If it costs this much for just WWE, again, I do hope that if you just have ESPN in your package of cable or whatever, maybe you get some sort of access. I know things in Canada, sometimes you have a cable subscription, then you get access to their apps, which allow you to watch their show. So maybe, but it's looking like you have to pay for this package. Again, even here, we get Disney Plus that puts Hulu on the Disney Plus. So we get all those FX or whatever Hulu shows,
Stars
like
and all that.
Bear or Only Murders. That's all just part of our Disney here. But I do know in the States, there's changes with the Hulu and the Disney and the ESPN. So they really want to try to make this app worth it and make people subscribe. That it's risky if, like, wrestling, like, I personally would absolutely not pay for that, because it's like, that's a lot, because you said it, you got to pay, you got to have cable to watch SmackDown, or maybe just like a basic cable network, I guess. But like, there's so many things just to keep up with everything that it almost sounds insane. And I'm not saying wrestling fans are not smart. It's just that's so much, like so much to go through just to watch and keep up with.
Plus,
WWE.
It's like $20 more, and you're losing that back catalog as well. Like, you'll be able to watch from when this deal starts. I believe you'll be able to, like, you know, rewatch the events that have been since 2026 and this deal starting. But if you want to watch the 2001 Royal Rumble, you can't. You know, like,
is that on the vault? Is that how that's going to work?
So
now? Like,
I mean, some of it you would hope that actually, I guess it would be the stuff during the Peacock time. I'd imagine, like, you would hope that's going on the vault. But I know they're not like the most watched things in the world, but I think people do value them, and to have all this stuff being like lost, it was a worry when everything moved to Netflix. Like, there's certainly like a lot of the Raws and SmackDowns have just been lost and are kind of hard to find and keep up with, and it's you're losing that. And I just think there's like the last week, I think the WWE PR has just been horrible. Like, just someone needs to like get a fucking. I always say about getting an acting coach into the PC. Needs someone who has PR experience to teach fucking Triple H and Paul Heyman and the likes how to.
They need Big Boom AJ.
Like, yeah, like it's sorry, but it's why, like, okay, you bring back Brock Lesnar. I know a lot of fans are completely fine with that. Like I know a large majority are completely fine with that. But there's a lot of people who like this product, who enjoy this product, who thinks it fucking stinks. So you bring back Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. This guy has been named 44 times in this sex trafficking lawsuit. You then have Triple H come out and go, Brock's going to do what Brock's going to do. And you're like, wouldn't word it that way.
Allegations are just allegations.
Allegations are just allegations. And then you're like, oh, by the way, guys, we're now going to be charging you $30 a month to keep up with our programming. And you go, oh, I already feel icky about this. The Saudi things are kind of icky for me. Brock coming back, that's kind of icky for me. And now you're going to charge me more money when the network launched, you were basically telling me I'm a fucking idiot if I buy this on pay-per-view because I could be getting it for $9.99. And then you have Paul Heyman on the Ariel Helwani show being like, yeah, fucking deal with it. He's back. What are you going to do? You can't cancel Brock Lesnar. Like, why are you yelling at me? I'm your audience. I've been a loyal audience member for fucking years. And you're just like, charging me more and condemning me because, like, I think it stinks you brought back this.
What did he
guy.
say? He's like, yeah, Jesus was criticized too. It's like, for fuck's sake, was Jesus named?
He compares him to Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, Donald Trump, JFK, and Lincoln. You're like, what?
What? This guy's a wrestler. Wild. He's a fighter.
I'd say there's one name on that list I'd maybe compare him to, but the rest...
And you know what? Like growing up listening to Ariel, like for years, like he's just this again, all the respect to him, but his show has come across like it's just a WWE TKO owned property at this point. He didn't press Heyman at all. He just said, "Oh yeah, criticism." It was like, oh, again, I think he's great, but lately it's mostly not like. It's part of the show. It's coming across.
Like no one has even like obviously no one has brought up the allegations, but no one's even gone. Oh, so where did Brock go for the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Like isn't that just a basic follow-up question? Even if you don't know, even if you're just a reporter for some random entertainment magazine who knows very little about wrestling, and you've been tasked to cover Brock Lesnar's return. And the question is, like, Brock's back after 2 years away. The first thing that would come to my head, oh, why has he been away for 2 years? Was he injured? Like, what happened?
He was just in Canada hunting moose
he was
or
just
something. Yeah,
being paid. Like during this time when we're releasing, women from this company because it's like, sorry, just like budget cuts, we can't afford you. And they've been paying this guy to fucking sit on his ass for the last 2 years.
I was a little like,
it's bad.
I'm seeing some comments in the chat now. It's like, man, like, yeah, I'm not believing that this is like an actual like this. He's doing things and not really. He's like, oh yeah, Brock's been criticized. Anyways, it's like, wait, can we talk about that? Nah, we're not going to talk about that. I thought that was just it was a little icky from me as a viewer. And again, Heyman's just covering his tracks and leaning into it and everything. And I don't know. Look, wrestling. We're going to see Brock wrestle. It's going to happen. And I get whatever is basically, okay, they're doing it. They clearly are going to go with that. But like just WWE in general is just this big, giant money-making machine. And they're going to make money and they're going to take your money and they're going to now make you feel bad about giving them your money.
It's stuff like I hate how like trivialized the stuff gets as well. And you know there are people out there who just they're not going to read the stuff and they just want to enjoy their wrestling and fine, whatever, power to you. But like I hate people trivializing it as mistakes. You know, like to me a mistake is like, Braden, can you grab me a sandwich? Make sure there's no mayo on that, and then you bring me the sandwich and there's mayo on that. I'm like, Braden, I like, oh sorry, I forgot. That's a mistake.
You get really mad if a sandwich comes with mayo on it, to be fair. Furious. Yeah.
You don't accidentally shit on a woman's head, you know? You don't accidentally say repeatedly the N-word and how you admit that you're racist. And you don't accidentally set up a meeting as part of your contract negotiations to have sex with a girl. Like, these are not accidents.
Yeah,
right?
The mistake is you getting caught.
Yeah.
Whatever. The way the world works is like, oh, everyone's criticized. Yeah, for rightfully so for something.
Stupid shit. Should we just let everyone get away with everything? I just accidentally killed that guy. It was a mistake. Let me off. You can't cancel me. Like,
yeah, it's bizarre, and it makes you feel like wrestling is that escape, right? Wrestling's stupid. It's people rolling around. It's supposed to be fun and silly and entertaining and an escape, but when it gets all weird, like the Vince stuff alone, like it's been in the news. Everyone who doesn't even know wrestling kind of knows about this guy and like the stuff and the sleazy stuff. And again, for people who have watched, look at the stuff he did on camera. That alone is like eyebrow raising, head scratching, and WWE, they're going to continue. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Vince at the Cena retirement thing in some way, shape, or form. Like he I don't know. It's weird that they brought Brock back. It's clear, obviously, they've announced a match for Paris, and it's not the Brock match. So what's the next show after that? Are they doing like a show before?
Perth? I think there's Perth, and then there's the Crown Jewel show.
That's Australia, right? So
which will be as it's standing, it will be Seth Rollins versus Cody as things stand for that show, because it's that champion v champion deal. So maybe Brock there if they can get Brock on that flight. But yeah, I wonder, like, is the Brock thing a longer term thing? Is Brock Cena's final match? I don't know, because
like we went to the Detroit SummerSlam and we were like, that's probably Brock's last match, and it's obviously not the case whatsoever. I mean, if he were to actually retire again, Cena wouldn't be the worst, where it's like a double retirement, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think we'll see him again. We definitely will see him at WrestleMania. We'll definitely see him at a Saudi show. So like
it's like for me, like Brock's impressive. You know, when we've gone, like when we were in Detroit and saw that match with Cody and stuff, like when you see Brock in person, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's a fucking monster, right?
Unit.
Like he does have that thing about him. But I don't think there's that crossover appeal anymore. Like I don't think you're bringing in any kind of UFC fans because Brock Lesnar's on it, because Brock's been doing this now since when did he return? 2013 was it? 2012? Like, so it's not like you're getting that crossover appeal anymore. And I think they've got enough stars. I personally, I don't know if Brock is going to move like a significant amount of tickets anymore. Maybe I'm wrong, but like
I think he might. I don't know. I think like if this is Australia, it's a different country. Again, a lot of people might not be into it like this. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, Brock Lesnar's back in WWE. Oh, they're coming. Let's go. Let's go to the show kind of thing. I don't know if that's their mindset or not, but like for me, I've been just as a fan speaking, I've been over him even before all this. It was like, dude, like I kind of actually wanted him to go away. So I'm not necessarily like, oh, he's back and there's allegations and that, but I do really want to watch him wrestle. Not really. No, like going towards Cena, kind of weird. Obviously, there's a lot of history there with Brock, Cena, going way back to like 2002 even, or 3 or whatever. But like, I just think there's so many other options. We're going to not Brock in Paris, but Logan Paul. And I think that might even piss off wrestling fans even more, just as like, wow, you're really wasting one of these things on the YouTuber. Okay, cool. But I do think it's I'm not even shocked that they brought him back,
no. I'm
like,
And like the fact they said, like, I think it's, unless there are charges or stuff, that they're just going to power through this stuff. So like, I wouldn't be surprised seeing a Vince McMahon return, like, especially if there's a settlement, if it doesn't go to court or anything, if there's just a monetary settlement. I personally don't think we're going to see Vince in any sort of office or creative role. Personally, I don't believe that. I just think the company is doing well as it is, and they like the people they've got in place and all that right now. But could I see Vince appearing at Cena's last match or Hall of Fame or anything like that? Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not shocked this whole Brock thing, and I'm sure some people are excited that, like, oh, hey, like, Brock Lesnar's back. Let's go to that match one more time. But it's just like, oh, like, you were doing so well. SummerSlam Night 2 was awesome. It was a really good show. And then Brock came out. Yeah, it shocked me. You know, Paul Heyman in that same interview with Helwani is like, oh, yeah, you heard the crowd. Everyone wanted that. It's like, I think the sound was like, oh, shit. And then everyone went, oh, shit.
It's also almost like, you know, almost like Pavlov's dog. Like, you hear the noise and just you react. Like, you hear it with like Hogan, like Real American starts. Everyone's like, hey, oh.
Me at WrestleMania 35, I said I was like, oh, the music hit, and like, you know, 12-year-old me was like, oh shit, it's Hulk Hogan. And then I went, oh yeah, fuck this guy, essentially. But you know, this is a TKO company, and look what UFC fighters get away with. Like, if the money was right, they'd have Conor fighting. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give a fuck. So really, we're just, you know, sensitive wrestling fan babies in the eyes of TKO. Like, oh, you're mad about allegations? Pfft, child's play to what we're used to with UFC fighters and this and that and everything. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not shocked. I can't say, like, will I watch it? Probably. It's WWE, it's wrestling. I'm still going to watch it, but like, I definitely wouldn't be paying the $30 extra for pay-per-views in 2020. Like, no, like there's so, you know what? I can catch up on clips, TikToks and all that stuff, but crazy beyond me that they pull moves like this. For certain fans, I'm sure they don't give a fuck, but for some fans, it might be enough to be like, you know what? I don't want to watch this anymore.
I'd say this past week is, and you hear this stuff all the time for years. I'm never watching wrestling again, blah, blah, blah. But I feel WWE this past week was the most I've heard that for a long, long time. And I'd say, like, right back to when we were in, like, the doldrums of Vince booking. Like, this is the loudest it's been I've seen in this past week, with just multiple, you know, the Brock thing, the ESPN thing, like, all of that, and just the, like, the wackiness of this Cena turn, this Men in Black, nothing happened, snap, and
it's so bizarre. Erased. Like, okay, we can all agree that it's best for business and best as a fan to just go back to being ham sandwich John Cena, but can we not agree also that the way we got back here is fucking terrible? Like, the turn, we'll go back to it a million times for the dawn of eternity, but we were there, Chamber, Toronto. The turn itself, what a moment. One of the biggest moments, biggest turns in WWE history. And then the heel run itself is terrible. And then they just pivot, like you said, hit the reset button, turn it on and off again. And they go, JK, actually. And then now we're just pretending like nothing's happened and kind of tongue in cheek without even having the tongue in cheek. So it's like, guys, what? Like, again, wrestling fans, I'm one of them. I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a fucking wrestling fan. So maybe I'm not the smartest person in the world, but you gotta give us something.
You know what this was? This was somehow the Emperor's returned. Like, just
Palpatine's returned. Wait,
it's exactly that. It's sorry, what? Just the opening credits. Yeah, BT Dubs guys, Palpatine's back. Like, I will say, like, I think, like, I feel the kind of warm and fuzzies we're getting from this, like, SummerSlam match, and I'd say SmackDown, like Cena in Montreal. I think maybe because we've been deprived of this for the last 5 months, it, like, now we realize, look, there are less than 10 dates this guy has left. And I think now we're finally getting, and we can embrace that John Cena, and we're only going to see this 10 more times, 9 more times, 8 more times. I think having the pause of the classic John Cena makes it mean even more now. But my God, like, you have script writers here, like, and there was no script. Okay. And I've been saying this way back when. Okay, Travis Scott and The Rock, like, you've done the angle. Oh, they're not involved anymore. The Rock's not going to be involved. Why? You can still have him as a character who's mentioned, like
Palpatine.
Like Palpatine, right? Like, just have him this off-screen figure that Cena can be like, I'm doing my bidding for The Rock. Even say, like, make it clear, The Rock's busy doing The Rock stuff. Like, he ain't going to be at WrestleMania. I'm doing The Rock's bidding here. But the fact that they, to start with, ignored it, and I know we were going back and forth before WrestleMania where you were like, no, it's got to be a setup. And then when we saw it wasn't and The Rock wasn't there, you're like, oh. The fact that it just became a you people kind of thing and just not a gradual, like, I think the crowd would have turned Cena at SummerSlam anyway. And maybe that would have been a more convincing way to do it. Like you do Rock Hogan 18. I think that crowd were going to boo Cody, and they were going to boo Cena. Boo Cody and cheer Cena anyway. And you could have just let that, like, naturally happen. And I think we'd have been a bit more accepting. Instead, it was just, soz, guys. I don't know what I was thinking. And then on top of that, like, the whole R-Truth movement we had for the last 6 weeks, that then everyone was so behind Truth, bring back Truth. He comes back. He changes his personality. And then it's like, I'll just be wacky R-Truth again because you're back. Just let's reset my character as well.
Yes. So the segment on SmackDown is they meet backstage and, like, okay, funny to an extent, but it's Cena gaslighting Truth, being like, oh, I can't believe you turned heel and turned on the people, and R-Truth is like, R-Truth, you know, like he did the, like,
he's like, stupidity. Wait, did I do that? Is it my
wait,
thing?
I did that? Like, but even still, I think there was such a better way to, but like watching, okay, mind you, I have not finished the whole season of this Unreal show, but you know, something stuck with me, and I was talking with some friends about this the other day. The clips of them planning WrestleMania, right? Okay, there's a clip where Cena, Triple H, I think The Rock, came in, like a bunch of people are like planning WrestleMania and this whole idea of Travis Scott, The Rock, and the heel turn and everything. And then they all go, yeah, we all got together in like 30 minutes. We banged it out. I don't know how things work where you work, Davie, but I know when I work at my job, which is a whole lot significantly less important than putting together a WrestleMania. 30 minutes ain't a whole lot of time to put things together. So when they go, we banged that out, hands washed, 30 minutes, bing, bang, boom, Travis Scott, no Rock, yes, here we go, that's it. No wonder it's fucking looked at as shit, because what are you telling me? You just went, what if Travis Scott comes out and helps Cena win his 17th title, and that's it. It was like, that's how you came up with this. So when now we're looking at, look how they did the heel run, look how they've now turned the heel run. Do they not have, like, writers? Like, where's Freddie Prinze Jr. What's going on?
I also think, like, this should be the easiest thing to storyboard. John Cena's last year. Okay, when you're doing, you should always, you would assume and hope they've always got an idea, WrestleMania to WrestleMania. Where do we want to get to for next WrestleMania? What main event are we thinking? But obviously with that, you're booking a whole pay-per-view. You've got all these other pieces moving around. And we see years like this year where Punk is kind of left out, so let's insert him into the Roman Seth thing and all that kind of stuff. This should be easy because all you're focusing on is what is John Cena's final year. We've got 12 months. We've probably got him on 6 PLEs or whatever. Like, month to month, what is John Cena's story? So, Elimination Chamber, he turns heel. We have him heel at WrestleMania, win the title, and then we want him a babyface by SummerSlam, and we want to tell this story for December. You should pretty much, and obviously you have things like injuries get in the way, but I think you should have, by the beginning of the year, have mapped out who his opponents are for each event he's going to do. You go, right, we're doing Randy here, we're doing Punk in Saudi, we're doing Cody in Vegas. We're doing Cody again at SummerSlam. You should have that all mapped out. And yes, maybe someone catches fire and then you pivot. But it shouldn't be the hardest story to tell because you've had a lot of time to plan this and you should just be writing for Cena and everything around him. And kind of that's your focus. But as you say, the fact it's like 30 minutes, bish, bash, bosh, wouldn't that be great? And it's the big problem, I think, with Triple H's booking this year. Like I've said this before, it's like he's reached his like
his playbook
third out, like ran out of his. Yeah, we said this about Tony Khan. Once Hangman won that title, hit the first time, his notebook of fantasy wrestling booking that he's been writing for years has come to an end, and then it's like, oh, now I've got to think what's beyond this. And it's WWE have become purely about moments and not. And it reminds me of The Walking Dead. Like I used to watch The Walking Dead but then I realized I'm just watching to see who surprisingly gets killed next, and then I'm gonna have a few episodes where fucking nothing happens, and then someone else I kind of like will get killed off. But all you remember is, oh, wasn't it crazy when Glenn died or whatever? Like spoilers, right. Whatever. And that's what they're doing. They're like, wouldn't it be nuts if Cena turned? Wouldn't it be nuts if Brock returns? Okay, but like we got to tell a story here as well. You can't just throw moments at us and think that's enough. Like you've got to justify these moments. You've got to actually tell a beginning, middle, and end to some of these stories.
I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done and Cena is retired, like people will be like, oh, great career. And majority of fans, I think, can agree that the last time is now. This whole run has been a bit iffy. But if you do want to look at some positives, like we talked about our thoughts on SummerSlam before NXT on Tuesday, and like the match was awesome. Clearly, Cody and Cena wanted to outdo what they did at WrestleMania. They clearly had a chip on their shoulder. They clearly saw some of the maybe negativity towards that match, and they wanted to maybe prove themselves and prove everyone that they could. And in my opinion, the Cena Cody 2 SummerSlam main event is an all-timer. SummerSlam WWE big main event, and hopefully when it's all said and done, we'll remember that. Like, you know what? We got through all this crap through the trenches, but when we got to that match in the moment, when we watched it, we sat at home, we had all the friends over, it hit real good. But that one match compared to months and weeks of just like drizzling shits, it's like, fuck, like
that match really... as well. Like, I don't know, like if we're going to see a match as good as that from Cena. And in a way, that felt like his retirement match, and now we're at the epilogue. That felt like the main thing, and now we're just like, how do we close this story?
Okay.
I'm doing lots of comparisons, but we're in the last 30 minutes of Lord of the Rings now, where it's just ending up trending.
So, okay, we just got Cody 2, and again, like honestly, one of my favorite Cena matches. I enjoyed Cena Cody 2 more than I enjoyed both of the Cena Rock matches at WrestleManias. Like, I think it's up there as some of his best stuff easily. And I think everyone's kind of saying, hey, this match was really good. And it totally was. But we're going from that. We're going to Logan Paul. We're going to Brock Lesnar, which we assume in Australia. Are we going to AJ Styles as his last match? But then something came up. What is Cena's last opponent? I looked at Cena's Wikipedia. I saw a tweet from someone saying Cena will possibly retire without being a Grand Slam champion. Cena has never won the Intercontinental Championship. So you know who's the IC champion? Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena. Possibly should happen before John Cena retires, because then he could go out holding all these different titles the one that's eluded him his whole career.
And Chief in the chat's reminding us that Cena only has like 10 dates left. Now, let's assume he's got 3 opponents, Logan Paul, Brock Lesnar, and his final opponent. You don't have much time to book any of these. I unfortunately don't see AJ being a match. I don't think AJ's in that level anymore. I love AJ Styles, and I don't mean that as a dig, but he's currently playing a comedy uncle-like character, which is fun. It's been really fun, him and Dom, seeing what they're doing. But I don't know if you're going to heat up a Cena AJ match with essentially 1, maybe 2 TV episodes to book it. And I'm kind of thinking maybe it's just Logan Paul and Brock, and that's it. We've got.
So you're saying Brock is the last one in Perth? What about the last?
No, like right at the end.
Rematch it.
Like maybe do the 2 matches, or maybe you don't have the match until then. I don't know, but I think you've probably got 3 opponents left. I need to find a list of what dates he's actually doing. I don't
like
know
if you're doing Logan Paul in Paris and you're doing Brock Lesnar either in Australia or either at this like last time is now show, right? And like I don't know, outside of Brock, AJ, who else? I know so many fans online, and whether it's Reddit or Twitter, like, oh man, just Edge, come over for one more match. Yeah, in a perfect world, we'd get one more face to face with those two. That's not going to happen. But like, I don't know who else like fits that bill, or we just go with someone else that they're the guy who gets the rub of I retire John Cena, like like someone else. But
I mean, you could have like okay, so we've got SmackDown in. So we just had the SmackDown in Montreal. We've got a SmackDown in Dublin, Ireland, followed by a SmackDown in Lyon, France, and then the Logan Paul match in Paris. We then have SmackDown in Chicago, a Raw in Springfield, Massachusetts, and then the Crown Jewel Perth show. And then we have Survivor Series with no TV leading up to that. And then the retirement match in December, which people are speculating that maybe it'll be the a Saturday night's main event, which sounds horrible. Like fucking
they're gonna cut his speech off.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got Clash in Paris, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, retirement match. So potentially 4 matches there. So Logan Paul, let's say you do Brock in Perth. Survivor Series, do you just put him on one of the War Games teams to just, kind of like Chamber and the Rumble, just a way you can have him quickly face a lot of different people one last time? I could see a Seth match down the line. I think that is something you could do. Although, is there any juice in Cena challenging for a title now that he's lost the 17th?
We don't need an 18th time title, okay? That's just being greedy, essentially. Yeah.
And then the retirement. So, yeah, we're possibly looking at 2 more opponents after Brock and Logan.
We said it earlier. Someone in the chat, Job Nobly, I said earlier, like, what if Brock and Cena just retire each other? Like, that could be why Brock's coming in. But I don't know. If you bring him in and all this stuff, there's some stuff online saying, dirt sheet saying this and that about Brock was still under a contract this whole time, being paid and everything. Like, I think maybe he would want to retire with Cena, but also he could easily come back.
It's a horrible, it'll be a horrible match in the ring, but is The Rock a possibility for the final match? Like, story and history wise, and you could actually somehow tie it together
with Brock,
where it's like, as soon as Cena like turned face, The Rock is on the phone to Brock and being like, what the fuck? You're my guy now. Take out this guy. Like, Cena was meant to be with me. He was meant to ruin wrestling. Like, you could tie that in and then final boss it. I mean, as a match, it'll be horrible. But
as a draw, like, that's a huge
as a draw, it'll be fucking huge. So
it would make sense, but
it's the rubber match, right? They're one apiece. So that could somehow tie all this story together. But I don't know if you're getting Dwayne wrestle this year.
It's kind of annoying. Like the Logan Paul thing, I somewhat get it. Again, like, I'm not shocked it's WWE, but I'm sure I'm not alone in being like, really? Come on. There's so many other people you want to see him wrestle. And like, again, Logan Paul, he's done pretty good at making people hate him in the world of WWE. I think he fits in pretty well. Don't get me wrong. But selfishly as a fan, you're like, that's not really one people were just dying to see. And as much as I can praise Logan Paul for being a great heel, there's not many where I'm like, oh, I want to see Logan Paul versus so-and-so, because he's just on the shows. He's the shoehorned in on these things where it's like, I don't know. I was really high on Cody and Cena at SummerSlam. So maybe this will be an entertaining match. But just if you were to tell people that John Cena is retiring and in one of his final matches, it's going to be Logan Paul, you'd be like, oh, that's really And that's kind of where we're at. So
yeah, I'm not surprised that, I mean, this was a rumored WrestleMania match, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like earlier
yeah.
in the year. It doesn't overly surprise me. I guess it could get some interest from outside fans. Like, I know obviously Logan has his fans outside WWE, but a lot of people know who John Cena is as well. So that could get some intrigue. And, you know, like Logan has been pretty good in these matches. So, and we've seen like John Cena still has a little bit of gas in the tank because that Cody match was great. So I think it could be a fun match, but it's one of those things when you realize we've only got these 9 dates left and this is one of them. Like, this is something I'm like, yeah, that would have been fun at the beginning of the year, or this would have been fun last year, or something like that.
Yeah.
When we've only got very few dates left, it makes it like, oh, we're going for this.
So that's confirmed for Clash in Perry. I am also assuming Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes is something that we go towards.
Yeah. I really like that angle, actually. The Claymore through the side of the desk. Like we've seen.
Who's the commentator? Joe
Testator just lost his mind.
Oh my God, he lost his shit. He was, oh my God. I've clipped it. It sounds like he's busted nuts to this Claymore. He's screaming, my God.
I thought it was great. Like we've had this new table introduced like since Netflix, right? And we've seen it's more robust, and there have been quite a few times people haven't gone through it, and you've got this like essentially TV screen on the front of it, and this surprised me. You know, sometimes we see obviously we see the spear through the barricade quite a lot, but especially in NXT, sometimes we'll just have a random wall set up at ringside that someone goes through, and it's cool. Like, it still gets a reaction, but it's a little hokey. Whereas I think this just really surprised people. Like, I thought it looked great, and it's a much needed thing for Drew. I think he did find weird chemistry with Logan Paul, but it is a weird pairing, and you can tell the guy's frustrated. Like, he had a hell of a year last year with the whole Punk feud and stuff, and has kind of deserved a bit better than he's got. Now, I don't see him beating Cody, but I think it is something you can really heat Drew up for, and he can sink his teeth into a little bit, and then continue that losing streak at the Clash show.
Yeah, like I do think a heel Drew versus Cody in this like form, I think this could be a really good story. I think we get some good promos between them. You have Drew continue to like steamroller him and like think that he could crush him. Maybe you even get 1 or 2 pay-per-view matches out of this, like a little bit of a rivalry kind of thing. But I think it's exactly what Cody needed coming off the Cena thing. We need a hot heel to go after him. And it's exactly what Drew needed, because like you said, he was a big part of last year, and this year he's just kind of been floating around. So I think this makes total sense. And I think it's hopefully they can do some good storytelling, because, you know, it's all about the stories and telling stories. And so far, every story they've been telling me is not great. So hopefully this one can really connect for the Paris show. What else is announced for that? I think there's been a few things. Clash in Paris. What else is there? Let's see. Is it just those 2 matches now?
Well, we've got Stephanie Vaquer taking on Naomi.
Oh, okay.
Because Stephanie Vaquer won the match at Evolution.
That's right. True.
Which I don't know if you'd go with Vaquer yet. I think Naomi is having some fun with this title reign, and I think while the character is working, I continue with it. But maybe this is one of those things that Stephanie Vaquer can come out like losing, but feeling like an even bigger deal. You know, if she can put on a great match with Naomi. But Vaquer is someone who I think will be a champion within the year. I could see like a Rumble win or something like that to build up her and EO down the line potentially. But I would say Naomi is probably retaining on that. I would assume so. There's other big WWE news. You know, you said the word release earlier, Davie. We don't use that word anymore. We don't use that. We use, what do we use? Contract not renewed. And, you know, there's a wrestler that a lot of people have gotten behind, especially recently. And he's finally gone from WWE. And I'm wondering
if you're feeling like how a lot of people are probably feeling right now. But I guess we got to pour one out for Tahuti Miles, gone from WWE. What, were you expecting me to be talking about someone else? Yes. Ashanti the Adonis, revealing on social media that WWE has not renewed his contract and that he's had quite a run these last few years in WWE, but it's not over yet. I would assume he's got a place, maybe with his boys in First Class, possibly TNA or whatever. So really, he's probably not that far removed from being back on NXT TV in the near future. But Tahuti Miles, Ashanti, gone from WWE. Wow. Oh, you're muted.
Honestly, the only thing that kind of surprises me with this one is it didn't happen sooner, because as soon as him and Carmen Petrovic broke up on NXT, we're like, oh, one of these are gonna be gone soon. And
right,
Ashanti, you know, he's been in the company for quite a while now. He's got talent. Like he's pretty fun to watch in the ring. He's pretty charismatic on the mic, but never really had anything to stick enough or really take him to that next level to make him kind of remembered, I guess. And yeah, I could see this guy having some fun on the indies. A TNA is an option. But yeah, like they weren't using him that much. So I'm not overly surprised by this one.
He had a lot of screen time with the Carmen stuff, but aside from being just the like lover boy kind of, his character was he was a fuck boy, really. He was swagged out though. He always had great fits and a good look. So I think he'll fit perfectly fine in anywhere he kind of shows up. But in other what seems to be releases or contracts not being renewed, Karrion Kross and Scarlett seem to be gone from WWE. You know, you could look at all the great detectives in the world over the years, Sherlock Holmes, great police detectives in any country in any year, but no one is as good as a detective as WWE fans who keep refreshing the WWE alumni page. Because as soon as people pop up on the alumni page, the internet sleuths are hard at work to realize they must be gone from WWE if they're on the alumni roster page. And that is where you can find Karrion Kross and Scarlett. They are on the alumni, no longer listed as roster members of Raw or SmackDown. So could this be it? And if you want to take things even further, Davie, if you're wondering, is this a work? Could this be part of this storyline? They even removed his music from Spotify. Oh my God. These detectives online are crazy. So whether or not that's a work, you know, never mind Seth getting his wife and kid to sell his injury. What if Karrion Kross said, you need to take my music down as well? I don't know if this is a work.
I'm kind of thinking it is, personally. I think we've seen very recently that with this whole Seth stuff that they're not afraid of using the real media, if you will, to try and get a story over. And it's stuff like there've been a few comments from, I think I might be wrong. I think Paul Heyman was one.
Paul Heyman in that interview.
And I know the guys on Busted Open as well have been saying about like, you know, the way you get this guy over is you make the fans want him. You pull him away. You had the "We Want Cross" chants at the not presser at SummerSlam, which Triple H just swerved to being, oh, you hear that? We want Brock. We want Brock. I'm wondering, like I am leaning towards this maybe being a work, and they're doing the stuff like moving to the alumni and the Spotify thing because they know people will get on top of that, and hopefully they're hoping that on Raw, you know, there's going to be those "We Want Cross" chants. I think another thing with this whole WWE Unreal, I think you're going to see more things that they're staging for that show. And I think having an episode about contract negotiations where you've got Karrion Kross and Scarlett, you know, doing the Sami Zayn story, their contract coming to an end, playing that out documentary form, I could see that being a thing. Now, I will say I think Cross has been quite entertaining backstage, but in the ring, he's still the drizzling shits. And these people chanting, "We want Cross," you deserve spending every dollar of that $30 to ESPN if this is just shit you want to be watching. Like you deserve absolutely everything you're getting. If this is what you're calling for, like, God bless Ron Killings, but if you're like just demanding that we need more R-Truth and Karrion Kross on our TVs, you are the problem. Because Daniel Bryan, he ain't. You're muted, Braden.
The reason I think it could be a work is because I could be wrong, but has Cross admitted that he was wrong about Sami Zayn? Did he admit that he's a terrible person?
I think there was I might be wrong. I'm just trying to catch up on things like live. I think there was something on like .com or something on Twitter, or like not on TV, but I think there was something filmed showing that. Like,
okay, we've watched this guy for a long time. Before WWE, he's had some like fun stuff and everything. But when he came to NXT, obviously us being like the NXT review, we watched a lot of them and we gave him so many chances. And there was a lot of big matches where it didn't hit. And it felt like, oh, this guy's not that great in ring. But since being on the main roster with like the spooky gimmick and the stuff, coincidence stuff that's kind of worked with this character, it's gotten people into him and cool. But like the We Want Cross stuff, like I watched the Sami Zayn match on Raw before SummerSlam, and I said on a show like, wow, okay, if we're going towards another match, like it's fucking Sami Zayn. You didn't get a great match out of that. Something's wrong. And then they rematched it. And again, I was like, okay, maybe the SummerSlam match would be great. I thought it was one of the worst matches on the weekend. So like I don't want Cross. I think we're good.
Sami Zayn to be having bad matches, you know,
yeah, like you've made Sami Zayn have a bad match. Like, come on. Okay, so we always need room for spooky shit in wrestling. It's just how it goes. People get attached to these characters and stuff. You said it, like the stuff he does as a character, this WWE storytelling, sure, it's cool, but I can't say I'm
spooky. Like that's far removed. Like
I don't know if it's spooky, but it's in that, like, you know,
he's more the devil on your shoulder, right? Like
so it's spooky. He's somewhat, but it's like, why would I get excited if look what we go towards? They tried so much stuff. When it was what Vince made him wear the mask and all this stuff. I'm like, by the end of the day, when he wrestles, I don't want to watch it. So like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily one of these We Want Cross people, but
absolutely not. I mean, you do also have the like the TNA partnership that you could, you know, if you're doing contract storylines and things, you could always just have him in TNA briefly to like move back or whatever. I sniff a work with this one. I don't know why. I don't know why you'd put so much effort in Karrion Kross. As I said, I respect the guy for what he was able to do. You know, he wasn't even on TV. He was like, oh, it's a commercial break on Netflix. Can I get 60 seconds? And he was good. Like, but at the end of the day, I need to be able to be somewhat entertained when you're in the ring wrestling a match. And I never
hope
have
he could,
been.
Yeah, I hope he could prove us wrong. But like we every time we go, okay, let's see what he can do. And then it's just like, oh, okay. It's not the most, I can't say I'm a huge fan. So it's kind of baffling me that WWE fans are going to fight to the death to make sure we have R-Truth and Karrion Kross in 2025, when it's like they could have great careers in TNA and other places going on. Like I wouldn't imagine a Karrion Kross going to AEW or anything like that. But
no.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's going on in the world of WWE. We're going towards.
Well, also, Austin Theory has been moved to the alumni section on WWE.com. We've seen, obviously, kind of the relationship with Grayson Waller's come to an end, and Waller is now looking to be part of the New Day as Big G. But Theory hasn't been on TV recently and was recently moved to the alumni section. So appears that Austin Theory's maybe left WWE.
I don't know, not necessarily a shock, but like considering when the last few years, Vince clearly saw some things in him. They had him job out at WrestleMania, but I mean, he was still on a WrestleMania. He was on main roster. The stuff with
he beat John Cena at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he beat John Cena in a terrible match, but I don't know. He hasn't necessarily done it for me. I think when we first laid eyes on him, like Evolve, when he was super young, and then coming into NXT, I think everyone was like, "Oh, young Randy Orton," or like, "This guy could be a prospect." And I don't necessarily think it got to that level. I think as soon as maybe people heard him talk, they were like, "Oh, okay, like decent wrestler for sure," but still a young guy. And I think if he were to be, if this is true and he is gone from WWE, I think he would have no problem landing somewhere else and doing bigger and better things. But I can't say necessarily he'll be missed because he hasn't really been used a whole lot. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I saw potential in him at one point, and even like when we were watching Evolve that brief time, I didn't mind his promos. I thought he came across well. I didn't ever see any sign of improvement. Like I think you look at him when he's young. Obviously, he's young, athletic, good looking, can wrestle, could talk. But then you see like, oh, if this is what he's doing now, how's he going to be in 5 years' time? And like you look at the improvement of, let's say, a Kyle Fletcher just in a couple of short years. Now it's been reported that he's just signed a big deal with AEW and will be there for the foreseeable future, and that they see a lot in him. Like I could totally see a Kyle Fletcher as an AEW world champion within the next 2 years.
Absolutely.
But
they're night and day. Like Kyle Fletcher would eat this dude
100%. And there was no evolution. Well, you say the Randy Orton thing, but there was no evolution of Austin Theory, unfortunately. And he's let all these people lap him. He's let people who have come into the PC with no wrestling experience and becoming a bigger star than him. It's a shame. Like he is still very young, so maybe an indie run or something like that would be really good for him, and he could improve and evolve. Again, pardon the pun there, but I think he's I think being overpushed by Vince at one point hurt him as well. You know,
who knows? Maybe he comes back.
Having him in as Money in the Bank winner when Roman's on this hell of a run holding both titles, like you just don't buy him winning this. But as you said, like he could come back down the line. He's still super young, but let's see, like, how does he take it? Does he do like a Drew McIntyre Cardona where they go out and completely reinvent themselves and put on bangers of matches on the indies and come back as a new man, or does he just, because he owns the name Austin Theory, right? He was having that before. I think it is. Like, does he just go and ride off being Austin Theory, the former US champion in WWE?
We will see. We'll see if there's a place. I'm sure there's a place for him in wrestling outside of WWE, and maybe he can prove people wrong. But I think the last few years, people were like, yeah, whatever. Austin Theory. Bless him. That's what's going on in WWE. We can jump over to AEW. We can start. You mentioned Kyle Fletcher signing this new deal with AEW. I mean, makes total sense. You saw after a few years of MJF and then the whole, the quote unquote walkout. Did he make the plane? Did he get on the plane? I got off the plane situation where he's like, hey, you signed me as a rookie and I'd become one of your quarterbacks. So we need to talk turkey. I think that's kind of what happened with Kyle Fletcher, where it's like, hey, 2 years ago, I was in a tag team that you geeked out and not a lot of people kind of knew who I was. Now I look like I ate that guy and I'm a bigger star and I'm becoming a bigger star. And TK locked that down. He wifed that up real quick, being like, yeah. You stay on this side here. So Kyle Fletcher is all elite for the foreseeable future. And I think that makes total sense. I mean, the guy has been on an incredible run. You can't deny, if you've watched him in the last year alone, he's become just an incredible talent to watch.
He could really, maybe Wrestler of the Year.
He's up there for me as Wrestler of the Year.
The amount of top matches he's had this year, it's especially with this injury, it's not a given that it's Will Ospreay this year, because the stuff Kyle Fletcher's put out there has been incredible.
Did you watch
back to the Dustin match just last week?
Did you watch it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I just watched it today, and what a match that was. That was so much fun. That little feud that they managed to, like, we were there. Dustin winning at Texas was great, but to do like a hardcore match where it's Fletcher getting his going back, Randy Orton again, the Randy Orton Mick Foley like comparison there, like Fletcher went all out, like balls to the wall, literally with the thumbtacks in the dick, which it's terrifying spot. I thought, okay, like Dustin and Fletcher from Collision a few weeks ago. I if you haven't watched, I mean, we're a little late of talking about it, but I kept hearing so much buzz that I had to put it on, and I'm so glad that I did, because on top of that, they got the music for Dustin. Yeah. He's a natural, like pop for that. But then you had me at the thumbtack iron clog spot, but then totally outdo themselves by pouring the tacks into this guy's balls, which was insane. And then some of the other spots in this match were nuts. The screwdriver, obviously, but just incredible match between these two. And now Dustin's gonna go like get like double knee surgery or something like that and everything. But a great moment for this guy.
Just like got to give all the love to Dustin Rhodes as well.
Hell
like
yeah.
there are so many, you know, like people will criticize whenever there's older people in wrestling. Oh, they're taking the spots, blah, 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 blah. But when you can still go to the level that Dustin Rhodes can, do it. Like like Dustin's put on so many like fun matches in AEW. I don't think he overstays his welcome. You know, he's he can come out a few times a year to have a meaningful feud like this to put someone over. I think it was completely the right move putting the TNT title on him at All In. Like if Fletcher just won that match, it wouldn't have meant anything. You know, Fletcher defeating Adam Cole for the title would have meant something, but as soon as that was out, it wouldn't have done anything to him. So giving us that feel-good moment of Dustin Rhodes having this title, for Fletcher to then murder him, driving screwdrivers into his kneecap and stuff like that, I thought was great. And I'm hoping we get a pink version of this TNT Championship coming out of this.
Yes, I love it. I love that he's like, yeah, pink's lit. It's my thing now. Like, that's what you do as a wrestler. You find things that work for you. I know Bret Hart pink. Obviously, other people have tried it too, but it looks good on him. This guy has grown. Like, we were at Full Gear in Newark just this past November, and it was the Ospreay match that I think some people, like our boy Way, picked it as his match of the year. Like that, if that wasn't the eye opener for us, for anyone, that cage match with Will was just like that. I think that's up there. I forgot. That's definitely up there in match of the year for this year. Like, just incredible. Or was that technically last year? No, I forget now. But this guy's the cage one with
Cage was Revolution, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So like this guy, it would be almost a great story if somehow Fletcher were to be champion before Will, and then Will has to chase him. But
I was just going to say the same thing. I think my concern is MJF holding this. Yeah, I'm going to call it a briefcase, the clipboard. Yeah. We're getting MJF and Hangman at Forbidden Door. I think MJF loses that, but I do think down the line MJF uses that clipboard to cash in, will of course will most likely be the next champion. Yeah. However, I think Carl Fletcher beating Hangman Page, like towards the end of Full Gear, Revolution, even around then, to be champion. Give Hangman a decent reign, but then it's a top heel at this point, defeating him in something fresh. Like, they might have had a match before, but I don't feel in this iteration of Hangman and Fletcher. I think that feels really fresh. And then having Will chasing Fletcher, where, you know, London is a kind of adopted home of Kyle Fletcher as well. Having that as the main event of Wembley, for me, we've already seen Ospreay and MJF at Wembley. Like, Ospreay and MJF had some great matches, but I think Will chasing Fletcher at Wembley Stadium next year to grab the title, I think that would be huge. And I think that's something the London crowd would be all in, pardon the pun.
Yeah, no, like that's exactly how I'm envisioning it. Like the story there, imagine if Fletcher were to get that title before Will, like comparing this to like sports, like of people who are considered like the best tennis players, but never get like this one thing where their opponent that maybe they've beaten in other tournaments, but somehow they got there first. And he's like, wait, how did you get there before me? And now
it's almost like, how like Seth Rollins won the title before Roman, and like Roman was like the guy, and it's like, oh, but this guy,
right.
And once you've got that, like Kyle can always, like Will can beat him for the title, but Kyle was always the champion first. And you can hear the promos like, no longer am I being compared to or chasing you. Now you're the one chasing me. And it writes itself. And I think enough time would have gone since their last match where that would be a hot match to do next year.
And that's a test to them. I mean, look, we've already just mentioned that they fought a bunch of times. The fact that I'm like, I want to see that again, meaning they did it really well, that we should run it back. I mean, one day we got to do Hanger versus Ospreay one more time. That was just too good to not do it. But hopefully Will does wrestle at Forbidden Door. I mean, that's another thing. He's all over the poster and it's his hometown and all this stuff. But like, we really do hope that he wrestles.
Well, that was something where like we were theorizing that maybe he's trying to rehab for this show, and then maybe get surgery after Forbidden Door and goes off for a bit if he needs surgery or whatever. But we were saying a Zach match could be good. Like they could work in their sleep and could probably work a really compelling match whilst being kind of,
well, you see what's announced,
but now that's changed, right? So now we've got this 4-way. What is it? Nigel McGuinness, Lee Moriarty, Hechicero, and I don't have the graphic.
Garcia, I think.
Garcia. I assume Nigel McGuinness versus Zack Sabre Jr., right?
Like, that's the most British match you could do. Nigel McGuinness versus Zack Sabre Jr. in the O2. Yeah, you Brits are definitely getting that match. That sounds awesome. This card looks awesome,
but now that does cast doubt in my mind for Ospreay. I mean, Ospreay, I think, will be on that show. He'll do the Rey Mysterio. He'll do the RVD. But if he is able to wrestle, who do you see him facing?
Fletcher. Fletcher says Fletcher fought Ishii on Collision, and then after said he wants the best from New Japan. And I mean, by going off of your interview with Fletcher alone from All In Weekend, I hope it's Tanahashi.
I really hope it's Tanahashi. I'm going to be spreading that clip everywhere if it's Tanahashi.
You need to start spreading it now so that when it does happen, that's the ace of New Japan, bad knees and all, are going to go up against Fletcher. And then Fletcher will stab him in the knee with the screwdriver, and then Tanahashi will have to go get double knee surgery. So there you go.
Bless Lee Moriarty, but like, can you imagine if Lee Moriarty won? Everyone be like, oh.
Yeah, like, no, it's definitely Nigel and
it's got to be Nigel.
Yeah.
It's got to be Nigel.
Well, we were at Dynamite, and we had honestly one hell of a Dynamite. I really enjoyed this. It was totally worth going to Cleveland alone for Brodido versus not the Young Bucks, but Max and Jeremy, Generation Me, dude. That match was fucking great. One of my favorite TV matches this year. And on top of that, you had Mox and Speedball, which is great. Briscoe and MJF. Like, it was a solid Dynamite. But to be there,
I thought the wrestling on this show was really strong. I thought there were a bit too many like interviews and backstage segments throughout the show. Like I could have done with like a big angle on the show. But as far as wrestling goes, and like, I thought the wrestling was great on this show. I thought Speedball Mox as an opener was really enjoyable. I loved the bit of, Mox just completely disappearing and then poking him in the eye on the apron.
That was great. Camera work.
I thought that was great. But yeah, man, this Young Bucks Brodido match, this character shift of the Young Bucks is completely working. They're going to run out of ideas at some point, but right now they haven't. I wonder what they've got in store next. But yeah, Brodido and likely FTR, right? For next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're getting that match. And like, I don't know. I kind of want Brodido to go forward. I love this tag team already of Bandito and Brody King, but that 450 combo is one of the damnest things I've ever. That move is crazy. I got a video of it while we were live there, but like, I don't. How did they come up with that? Like, the one guy runs, I monkey flip you, and then you do the 450. Like, what? It is actually crazy. And every time I watch it, it reminds me of, we've joked because we're the same age, of like LimeWire, MP4s of clips of like, you know, Sabu doing crazy stuff. Like, this would be one of those clips if we were 13, Davey, when it's like, oh yeah, I downloaded
this is the Sabu triple jump moonsault, right? Yeah.
People are like, wait, this guy did a 450, like, this match was crazy. It's the one jump of also where he launches him to the outside as well. It's like, holy shit, man. I kind of want to see this run back,
like the kind of wacky wild sort of thing, right?
Yeah, like, he launched this dude, and the Bucks made it look like safe, so they caught him and everything. But the Bucks are tag team of the year, like with this run. Like, they're killing it with the stupid, silly, bum ass Bucks. Like, they're gonna have to think of some other stuff. You said, like, eventually, where do they go? Are these guys gonna be dumpster diving? Or are they gonna be like, where are we gonna go with it? But I've been loving it, and I want to see more of it, and I'm loving the tag team kind of resurgence coming back. And where do we go with this?
Well,
with the titles,
I think this opens an interesting discussion with one of our other topics, which is all kind of linked, is the MVP Speedball story, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's been some stuff coming out this week about MVP and the Hurt Syndicate, and you know, being picky about who they want to put over. Now, the story going out there was that they didn't necessarily want to put over FTR, and they wanted to put over a younger team. Now, they've already gone through the Outrunners and Jet Speed, and apparently there's MVP doesn't really like Speedball. Now, they did put up that little kind of TikTok where they're both saying "fuck you," which was kind of funny, and I think a way of them being like, "Yeah, right, we're fine, we're good."
Yeah.
I can just imagine it's MVP just thinks he's a massive dork, to be honest. Like, and he's like, "Yeah, I ain't having Bobby Lashley lose to that guy." But
yeah, I just can't see anyone being like legit have heat with this. He seems like just the nicest little guy, nerd backstage. Like, we've met, he's nice. We know that. We've established anyone in wrestling. So that story was kind of like, what? Oh, weird. And then that video is pretty much like, don't believe like everything you read, I guess.
But like, it's weird because I would say this could go in a few different directions. Now, we've got the kind of abrupt breakup of MJF with the Hurt Syndicate. However, all those segments have been backstage, and like the first one was like MJF kind of going like, "Hey, cameraman, come here." The one on Wednesday, he's like, "Hey, get this camera out my face," like very much drawing attention to the fact that a camera is here. So could it be a ruse? Right. In which case MJF is gonna help the Hurt Syndicate retain, or the Hurt Syndicate help MJF win this title off of Hangman, which seems a little soon, but maybe. Now, the other thing is they have legit broken up, and MJF helps FTR beat the Hurt Syndicate, which leads to FTR versus Edge and Christian in Toronto, which I think would have been the original plan, right? That just makes a whole lot of sense. Edge and Christian going for the tag titles against the guys who put out Cope at All Out. Like, that makes a whole lot of sense. But if rumors are true about the Hurt Syndicate not necessarily wanting to put FTR over and wanting to put over a fresh team, could Brodido be that fresh team?
I would love that. I mean, the Hurt Syndicate's a popular unit right now. I wouldn't even necessarily want to take the titles off them, but the little quick teaming of Brody and Bandito, like, just showcases of how good those two guys actually are. Like, they're great people to have on your show, because Brody, he's always put in the tag team with his other guys, but since the injury is a buddy, this is kind of like, Bandito is just incredible to watch. I think Bandito is the perfect example of when someone's like, "Oh, you like wrestling?" and then you show them like a Bandito match, like you show them that match or anything. You're just like, wait, what is this guy? He's an outlaw luchador, but also he can gorilla press dudes and hit planchas and 450s. Like, he's just awesome. So I hope they kind of do win. I don't know if FTR and Edge and Christian need the titles in Toronto. So that's why I think we don't necessarily need to get that route. I know Edge or Cope can't, attack FTR, but in some way, shape, or form, they got the Stokely Cope match. If it is a match, really, like something's going to happen where FTR cost the match, right? So I would imagine Christian maybe, like, we still need to get to that kind of thing.
Where do you see MJF? Do you see him sticking with the Hurt Syndicate and that's a ruse, or do you see him with FTR? Maybe.
True. Like you could make it it was all part of this like on-screen thing where he's tricking people like a Hangman or something, but I'm not quite sure.
I wonder as well if you get a bit of, remember like SummerSlam 99 where Austin didn't want to drop to Triple H, so he just drops it to Mankind for a night, and then the next night Triple H beats Mankind. Like, could we be doing that? Could Brodido beat the Hurt Syndicate only for FTR to beat Brodido on a TV? Before All Out, maybe. Yeah,
book it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, either way, like those matches sound awesome. Brodido FTR sounds great. FTR, this heel run hasn't necessarily hit for me yet, but I think if we give it some time, like the wrestling is their strong suit, and they haven't necessarily been doing that as much. So
it's the Stokely thing that just drags this act down. I know he has his fans. I know people find him funny, but you had you had the angle where FTR try to murder Cope. You know, they're like repeated concertos, snapping the neck, all that. And now you're just hanging around with this guy that complains that he can't get hose and is going to have a comedy match with Cope next week on TV. And I don't know, it's lessened them for me. I think they should have had the heel turn and been an actual killer heel serious tag team. Like you had that Outrunners match on Collision was the way to go. But I don't know, for me, I can't think of any act that Stokely has actually gotten over. Yeah, like I feel he's there to just pop himself and crack jokes, but I don't like who's he ever gotten over? Who he's paired with?
I don't think they necessarily need him in this group. Like they're already like Dax is a pretty good talker, so
yeah,
I don't know if necessarily that is something that necessarily works for me. But either way, like when the wrestling hits, it totally does. And I'm looking at this Forbidden Door card. It looks awesome. Like you got Okada versus Swerve, already a pay-per-view I'm going to be watching. You got Timeless Tony Storm versus Athena. You got the four-way Mercedes Alex Windsor, who has been super impressive since coming into AEW. I can't say I was very familiar with her other than I hear she's with Ospreay. Okay, she's Miss Ospreay. But then, wow, when she wrestles so far, I think she deserves to be put on TV. She's pretty good. And that's a four-way. There's obviously going to be some Stardom and CMLL kind of.
Is there? Because at the moment, this pay-per-view is just the door.
It's just AEW, really.
Just AEW door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure once the G1's over, I think we'll just get a few like random graphics of random matches thrown up. And to be honest, I think it's in its best interest at this point to just book big AEW matches. I'm sure that London crowd are much going to prefer seeing an MJF versus a Hangman and a Swerve versus an Okada than, you know, a Hangman taking on Ren Narita or whatever.
No, like absolutely.
They're going to much prefer this. And you want when it goes overseas, you want to see the stars. You want to see the show as authentically as it is. And I think you can get a Mystico match on there. You can get your Shingos and whoever on the show. But I think it's looking quite nice. It does feel a bit of like a breather pay-per-view. You know, you've had the huge All In, and I expect All Out to be good, to be big as well. But I think it's like there's some nice stuff on that card, especially the two main men's matches they've announced so far.
Yeah, no, it looks like a stacked show. I'm definitely excited to check that one out. I'm sure we'll get some more match announcements in the next little while and some New Japan stuff. It's a weird time because it's like the G1 is going to be ending around this time, right? So it's like kind of like not fitting in with adjacent New Japan. I've been trying to cherry pick some Takeshita G1 matches. I watched him in Shooter today as well. That was pretty good, but I'm not fully caught up and I can't say I've looked at the scores and everything, but Takeshita should be the White Knight. I'll just repeat this until it finally happens. But like New Japan got no steam at all in anything. You couldn't try to get any of your guys over because I just don't think it will work. So you got this guy right here who could wrestle circles around everyone in your locker room, even your champion. He should be the guy to have the big main event at Wrestle Kingdom. Like, they don't have anyone else. And I say that as a huge fan of Takeshita, but like New Japan, you got him right there. Go with it, please.
I really enjoyed the Zach Takeshita match. That's one of the matches I have caught. And I think with Zach won that one, right? Like, so I think that opens up, have Takeshita win the G1, have the rematch in the Tokyo Dome. I think that's the best match on paper that you can put together with people you've got available. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. He's been having the great matches. Pollock recommended the match against Yoshihashi, which was really enjoyable.
I heard did check out
that one as well. So, we're coming to the playoff stages of the G1. I'm with you. I think Takeshita makes so much sense at this point, and they're struggling though. These attendances have been poor. The young guys
can't blame them.
The young guys aren't getting over, and I think for all of like criticisms about Vince, like sometimes he had the right thing where it's like, you know what, I just got to go with this guy, and I don't really, if people don't like him, I will just ram him down your throat until you do like him. But the thing is, they haven't done that with any of these new guys. They've gone half in with all of them to a point where now these new guys have been there 5 years and we don't care. I think Yuya Uemura is someone who, like, I've seen like leveled up. I think just presentation and the matches I've seen him have, he's looked pretty good, and I'd say he's someone who could break out of that pack. But yeah, right now you're still having these problems, and it's a temporary solution, but it's a solution. And I would go that as the biggest match you could possibly do in the Tokyo Dome in January.
You know, absolutely. Like, Takeshita is just so entertaining to me, but like then putting him in the New Japan setting, it's like, man, he's clearing these dudes. Like, even the star power, people are like interested, like, oh, if you know who he is from Japan and history of DDT and stuff, you're like, oh, it's cool that he's here. But then if you don't, you watch him wrestle and you're like, oh, this guy's lit. So it's like, it's a win-win when you have him. You know, as much as I want to see Tanahashi versus Fletcher at Forbidden Door, Fletcher in the promo said he wants the best New Japan has to offer. Could we see Proto Shida collide with Fletcher versus Takeshita? Because honestly, that's the match right there. That would fucking cook. If it's a little...
Sorry, you said Proto Shida versus Takeshita and Fletcher. Shida versus who?
Fletcher versus Takeshita. Like a little bit of a
Proto Shida. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I think that would be fucking crazy. But
I actually do think the Tanahashi match will be the match. I think Tanahashi is that level person that you can just throw the graphic up and people will go, okay. Or you have him just come out and do his little pose, and that's the match. Yeah. I think we'll see Fletcher and Takeshita down the line, but I think for this Forbidden Door thing, I think, yes, we know Tanahashi's not at his prime anymore, but I think if you say the best in New Japan, I think Tanahashi's still going to come to a lot of people's minds. Nice. And kind of fits in with a little bit of this legend killer story that Kyle's been having going on.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
He brought up in, and it was hard to hear because everyone was booing so much, but on Dynamite basically took claim of ending Adam Cole's career, and now he's ended Dustin Rhodes' career, and now Tanahashi, you can see the promos, right? Like, Tanahashi, you're not going to make it to the Tokyo Dome in January because your career ends in August 24th in London.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for Forbidden Door. Super jealous of anyone going to that show. Let us know if you do. Would love some live insight and everything. It's definitely going to be an all-timer, and then we'll gear us up for All Out in Toronto, which I'm hoping we get to see Fletcher on that, Takeshita on that, many of these stars. I'm sure that show is going to be awesome. They put out the new poster with Edge on the cover, Cope on the cover. Maybe they'll have to make a new version with Edge and Christian on the cover.
This looked like the most WWE poster AEW has ever done, right?
They're just like, Edge, look, it's him. I mean, they did Ospreay for London, so it makes sense that they're like, yeah, we'll put our hometown boy. But also announced Full Gear is taking place in Newark. This again, they just love going to Newark, New Jersey for some Full Gear. So
fall in New York is a beautiful. It's possibly my favorite time to visit New York. Is like the Thanksgiving going towards like Christmas season. It's beautiful. It's not.
So you going?
I'll look into it.
We might go.
I may have already reserved a hotel just in case. You know how I do things.
I'm not
Free
gonna
cancellation. Booking.com.
I raved about it before, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna go to American Dream. I'm gonna go on that insane Madagascar drop water slide. I'm gonna go on the Shrek water park, the wave pool. Then I'm gonna mosey on over to the arena and watch some wrestling. It's probably gonna be. It was one of the greatest days of my life, so I'm gonna go do it again. I think so. If you're thinking of going a full year in Newark, maybe we will see you there. But it's cool that they're going back. I guess why not?
We taking the bus?
Take the bus there. Yeah, why not? That just means that Big Boom AJ is gonna do a hell lot of promo for that pre-show again.
Yeah,
bless him. But so yeah, there you go. That's what's going on in the world of AEWs. Definitely excited for Forbidden Door. If you are in the Toronto area, I know we haven't put it up yet, but we will be doing a bit of a watch party at Wide Open. So follow this space because we will. It's during the afternoon, and then the evening is NXT Heatwave. So that kind of messes up our day. So we'll have to figure out what exactly we are doing. But again, follow this space for some updates on that. And then kind of one last thing, Jonathan Gresham posting. He had a very, very scary week with he was hospitalized, but was it a stroke?
He had 2 strokes.
Very scary. I hope he's all right. All the power to the Gresham.
Yeah,
Mr.
this
Gresham
sounded horrible. Like
terrifying.
Like what's it? Jordan Grace realized when she checked the doorbell camera and saw him getting like stretchered out to the hospital. So flew back, and it says he took 30 minutes to be able to call like the ambulance because he wasn't even able to move half of his body. And yeah, scary stuff. Like the guy's 37, okay. Like he's not much older than I am, and obviously like peak fitness. Like look at the guy. Like he sounds very optimistic. Like he's like hoping to return to wrestling in a couple of weeks. Like I would say, take that time. Like maybe recover. But very scary stuff. So all the best to the octopus.
Absolutely. That's all the stuff going on in the world of wrestling. We appreciate you hanging out with us here. We do this every week. Will we be back next Sunday, 2 p.m., I think, our normal time on Sunday, and we'll talk all about more hype for Forbidden Door and whatever's going on Dynamite and Collision and everything. We'll review it just like we did right now. But you can catch us live 10:05 this Tuesday, right after NXT. We go live on Tuesdays at Post Wrestling on the YouTube. We'll chat about whatever's going on in the world of TNA, NXT, CMLL, AAA, whatever's going on this week, and so much more. And of course, you like what you hear, patreon.com/Poisonrana, $5 to become a friend. You get hundreds of podcasts, retro pay-per-view reviews, movie reviews, and so much more. Our wasNXT episode, our Fantastic Four review coming out this week, and so much more. So can't do without all the listeners and all the frogs and tadpoles out there. We really appreciate you guys. We love you. We love you so much. We do. Well, that is it for us. Enjoy your hot summer wherever you may be. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourselves. And goodbye.
Ahoy!